declare state of emergency in areas devastated by illegal mining, urging swift and decisive action. The party dismissed his concerns that have deterred past administrations rekindling debate after President John Mahama recently ruled out such a move during a press briefing.
President Mahama has stated that his administration will not rush to declare a state of emergency in the fight against Galamsey, stressing it should be considered only as a last resort. At last Wednesday's media engagement, he acknowledged growing calls for tougher measures, but maintained that existing laws already provide adequate authority to act. However, speaking on ChannelOne TV and City FM's news analysis program, The Big Issue, the Director of Communications of NPP, Richard Ahiagba, urged the president to set aside fears over the implication of such a declaration.
The president is running away from fighting Galamsey. Quite simply, this state of emergency that people are telling us and making it look very scary, okay? It is not.
Very well.
It is what we need now or nothing would work. And I was careful to tell you what Akufo-Addo tried. Close to a state of emergency, but it didn't work. Okay? What you need now is a complete shutdown. And state of emergency can be guided.
Presidential staffer Nanaya Jantua countered, arguing the government should be allowed more time to address the menace without resorting to extreme measures.
Where we've gotten now, there's the need for us to come together and fight it. We have our own sisters and our brothers doing it. Just a moment ago, Mr. Ahiagba said that His Excellency Nana Addo tried to fight it, tried to put in place an emergency, state of emergency, like a pilot one, and it didn't help. So if that history is there, you do a pilot to see if the real thing will work, and the pilot did not work. Why then do we go there?
University of Ghana political science lecturer Dr. Ateku supported this position, insisting the relatively new government deserves space to prove its effectiveness.
The reason why I would not support it is that for now, because this is where we have a government that is just about 8 months, okay? President Mahama said that we have the capacity to be able to deal with it, just as Akufo-Addo, started and all that. So why wouldn't we allow to see whatever this government will do, okay? If they are failing, if it is taken to a point where they cannot, we can now put pressure on them that, well, we have given you enough time, you've not been able to deal with it, and therefore, pressures can be on them to declare a state of emergency.
Security analyst Richard Kumadu cautioned that declaring a state of emergency could impose harsh restrictions on residents in mining-affected communities.
And when you declare state of emergency, it means that there's going to be a restrictive force within those areas. But when you look at how our countries and communities are set up, people move from one area to another area, not necessarily engaging in Galamsey, but if there's a restrictive force under the state of emergency, there will not be any movement, no food will be sold, no hospital, people may not have access to hospitals, people may not even have access to fetching water, because if we are not careful and the powers that be says that there should be no movement within those enclaves, and you are going to create high levels of discomfort.
Meanwhile, the president of Imani Africa, Franklin Kujo, has commended President John Mahama's recent media engagement, describing it as a display of honesty.
My immediate impressions were clearly that this president was actually quite humane. He was truthful, he was wise, he was knowledgeable, was practical, and very probably accountable. I think one of the things we are witnessing in this era is essentially the fact that you have leaders who are willing to come forward. And I think John has always been like that, by the way. But there's something characteristically brilliant about that session that we had.
Now, a study by Professor Anthony